in shape, 145.
Yeah.
In shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
Gervonta Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility.
Terence Crawford reportedly met Gervonta Davis before his upcoming fight with Jake Paul to give him helpful training tips and advice. The two boxing champions shared techniques and talked about different fight strategies, showing great respect for each other. Crawford praised Davis for his talent and hard work and said he fully supports him. He also mentioned that if Davis ever wanted to fight him one day, he'd be open to it, not as rivals, but out of respect for the sport of boxing.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow, man. Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know.
Gervonta Davis seems to be learning from Terence Crawford, one of boxing's most skilled and technical fighters. Crawford's training for Canelo Alvarez stood out because of his quick stance changes, strong balance, and unpredictable rhythm. Now, Davis appears to be using a similar style. His new training videos show him working on footwork, changing angles, and even switching stances in the middle of combinations, something fans haven't seen from him before. Many believe he's learning not only from Crawford but also from Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who is known for fighting easily from both stances. This new approach suggests that Davis plans to surprise everyone in his upcoming fight against Jake Paul.
Right. This is scary. Gervonta Tank Davis is working on his versatility. We already know he has that ultimate equalizer, that special God-gifted one-punch knockout power. But he also can box. Gervonta Tank Davis, he's very durable, has a chin, never seen him visibly hurt. Gervonta Tank Davis also has great footwork and foot placement. And here you see Gervonta Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility. He's now working on fighting orthodox. He's naturally a southpaw. Now he's working on fighting orthodox. Great switch hitters, no diddy, in the sport of boxing.
Showbiz the Adult, a well-known boxing commentator, said that the fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul needs to stay exciting. He explained that some people think it might look like a light sparring match, with both fighters going easy to avoid embarrassment. But if that happens, it could ruin both of their careers. Fans would lose interest and stop paying to watch them fight. Since both Tank and Jake have huge fan bases that expect action, the fight can't be slow or cautious, it needs real intensity. If it turns boring, all the hype around it will disappear.
Career ending. It could be career ending. Jake Paul can end his whole shit. That's the black. Tank can end Jake Paul's whole shit. And if that fight is meh, and it's just a sparring session that's tit for tat, their shit's over. Because people gonna be pissed that it's exactly what they expected it to be. They can't do that. If they do, their career's ruined. Jake Paul's career's ruined, and Tank. If they make it meh and just touch, both their brands suck. That's the black two sugars. You mess around in that bell ring, and you see little Tank, and you see big Jake, and he's throwing a jab, and little Tank making a miss, and bam! And y'all gonna be like, whoa! Say I'm lying. Y'all know what? Yes, say I'm lying. Please say I'm lying. But y'all gonna be right there, cheering. Because you ain't never seen nothing that damn bizarre. Even De La Hoya versus Shaq had headgear, and Shaq ain't a boxer. That right there, fireworks. because you're gonna be holding your breath, especially Tank fans. I'm gonna be like, don't hit Tank. You're gonna see Tank little ass legs. He's gonna and big ass Jake big legs and big ass head. Watch. Y'all talk all that shit now because y'all love talking shit. Y'all love hating on things until you see it. Like women back in the 90s. I remember my sisters back in the 90s. You ain't that cute. You ain't, but all on your shit. That's what y'all do. Y'all talk shit, but y'all the first ones there.
Keith Thurman pointed out an interesting truth about Gervonta Davis and his critics. He said that the same people who always complain about Tank are also the ones who never miss his fights. They say his performances aren't good enough, yet they keep watching every time he steps into the ring. Thurman believes this shows that even his critics are actually helping him. Their attention, even when it's negative, only makes Tank more famous. Every time they call his fights disappointing, they end up giving him more attention and keeping his name big in the boxing world.
If you're really not happy with Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What is it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, you know, it's money-making purposes only, you know. It is what it is, people.
When Claressa Shields said that the only fight that makes sense for Gervonta "Tank" Davis is against Shakur Stevenson, Tank didn't like it. He replied coldly, saying that no one has the right to tell him what to do. He made it clear that fans should just be fans, not act like his managers. His response comes from a deeper frustration. After his draw with Lamont Roach, many fans turned on him online and called him overrated. That criticism clearly bothered him, and now he's done trying to please anyone. His mindset is simple. He fights for himself, not for others' approval.
And says that, you know, pretty much the only people that can beat him is Shakur Stevenson, and I don't know who else he said. He said she thought that at a point in time that Devin Haney could beat him, but now she doesn't believe that. But so really the only fight that there is for Gervonta Davis is Shakur. What a mighty, mighty convenient argument. And Gervonta Davis responded, and basically his response was, "Come on, girl, stop talking about me so much because you're making me feel like I'm special." Right? So he pretty much just, you know, kind of blows it off. But I really think that there's something much deeper going on here, and it is that this. And I said it again. I said it in another video. I'll say it in this one. The Bud Buddies. The Bud Buddies are a crew of boxers that all hang around and worship Terence Bud Crawford. And the main two members of it, besides the people that are actually in Terence Crawford's camp, as fighters are Shakur Stevenson and Claressa Shields, without a doubt. Claressa Shields is a huge backer of Terence and a huge backer of Shakur Stevenson. At the end of the day, the only thing she really cares about is what's in the best interest of Shakur Stevenson. And anything and everything she say is angled that way to get Gervonta Davis to do something that Shakur Stevenson wants him to do, which is really do all the hard work and then be there for Shakur Stevenson to become a star at the end of it. I'm telling you, man, I believe that to the bottom of my soul, that is the same plan that Terence Crawford ran on Errol Spence Jr.
The fight between Gervonta, Tank Davis and Jake Paul doesn't really fit the usual style of professional boxing. Many experts say it's not true competition but something between a sport and a show. What makes it even more questionable is that both fighters are still in their prime. Exhibition fights normally happen when boxers are past their best years, like Mayweather's recent matches. But Tank and Jake are both active and still building their careers, which makes this fight seem unusual. It feels more like a mix of boxing and entertainment made to go viral.
Fights like this, with fighters pretty much in their prime, But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. Has Tank? Well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see unless he has everything his way.
Another big concern about this fight is the huge weight difference between the two. Jake Paul is close to cruiserweight, while Gervonta Tank Davis usually fights in the lightweight or super lightweight divisions. That's about a 60 to 70 pound gap, something boxing rules are designed to prevent. Weight classes exist to keep fights fair and protect boxers from serious injury. If matches like this become common, it raises the question, what's the point of having weight divisions at all? Even if this is labeled an exhibition, the size difference makes it risky and potentially unfair.
Assuming there's no rehydration clause, which I don't believe there is, he'll probably weigh around 215 pounds in the ring. That means there's a sort of a 60 to 70 pound difference between the two men in the ring on fight night, which is absolutely enormous. There are weight classes for a reason in boxing, and this is the sort of thing that is typically not allowed or permitted. And like I said in my intro, it goes to the heart of that key question in boxing, which is how big is too big? It's the reason that the pound for pound list exists, where we kind of imagine if everybody was the same size, who's the best, who's number one? And it's a debate that rages on and on and on. And so when I see a fight like this, I think the hardcore boxing fans, generally speaking, have felt frustrated by it. Yes, because we want Gervonta Davis as part of the actual sport, competing for world titles against the other elite guys in his weight class. But also because if he gets knocked out and loses to Jake Paul, it creates this illusion that Jake Paul's much better than he actually is. And so I guess the question for me is, can Gervonta Davis beat Jake Paul, or will Jake Paul simply be too massive? Can Jake Paul use his size, or will Gervonta Davis simply be too skilled? What's the answer here? And in trying to answer this, I looked to history. And there's one fight that immediately popped out of my mind, and I thought, I wonder what the size difference was there. In fact, it may even be more significant. And it was, and the small guy won. Some of you might be thinking about it right now. It's when David Haye took on the monster, the absolutely ginormous human being, Nikolai Valuev. I think it took place around 2009. So at the time, I was literally a teenager. I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, and I'd fully bought into this David versus Goliath story. But I think it's an excellent example here to draw comparisons between the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight to try and understand whether or not this is a good template and blueprint to try and predict and understand what the size difference might look like in the ring. Now, David Haye was 6'3" and was 217 pounds for the Valuev fight, whereas Valuev was 7 foot tall and weighed 316 pounds.
The outcome of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis isn't just about who's stronger or more skilled, it could shape the future of boxing. If Jake wins, it might encourage more exhibition-style fights between influencers and pro fighters, shifting attention from serious championship bouts to social media-driven spectacles. Fans might start seeing traditional boxing as boring and favor drama over real skill. But if Tank wins decisively, it could remind everyone that true boxing talent still matters more than celebrity hype. Despite all the criticism, many people are curious to see the fight. Regular boxing can feel slow or predictable, but Jake's matches are wild, unorthodox, and full of surprises. Adding Tank into the mix makes it even more explosive. Some fans who have stopped watching traditional boxing might tune in, not for the sport itself, but for entertainment. In a way, this fight shows what modern audiences seem to want, something chaotic, unpredictable, and controversial.
Viewers hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective, but you don't see it.
Former champion Sean Porter offered his view on Jake Paul's rise in boxing. He said most fighters take Jake's fights for the money, not respect, because the paydays are huge and hard to resist. But Porter believes Jake still hasn't earned real admiration in the boxing world. The respect he gets is mostly superficial. People admire his business skills, not his boxing. Jake's team is great at marketing him, but true recognition comes from facing and defeating top-level fighters, something money can't buy. This fight highlights how boxing is increasingly driven by business. For Jake, it's another chance to prove he can compete with real boxers. For Gervonta, Tank Davis, it's a test of how far his brand can reach beyond the sport. Both are strong in marketing, but in different ways. Jake relies on spectacle, while Tank relies on skill.
Always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I know that I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.